What is up, guys? It's TheGreatWall back at it again with another video. Today we are here with another Add A Legend video. Today we're going to be doing the St. Louis Cardinals. Off rip, not a very bad team to start. They've got a couple like good pieces. Like I think maybe these top 6 or 7 guys are going to be pretty good. Obviously there are some bad spots. Like starting pitching isn't completely perfect, but they got a good closer. Decent catcher, decent first baseman. Second base, obviously not great. Center field, not great, but a lot of solid pieces to work with. Um, that being said, though, I'm going to sim out the first year and see how they do on their own. All right, we are at the All-Star break. Home Run Derby, I doubt we have anyone here. We do not. Not surprised. We're 42 and 55, as you guys can see. All-Star voting. Do we have any starters? It does not appear so. Let's see. I'm just Kyle Leahy for relief pitchers. The only one that I thought we would maybe have was our closer, but Ryan Helsley, oh my God, he's doing terrible. Um, yeah, so this team is obviously not great to start, but it is what it is. I actually kind of want to see who their all-star is, so I'm going to sim a couple days here. And let's see their all-star. I'm assuming it was Leahy. Yeah, that's going to be their only one. Not surprised, to be completely honest. I mean, there might have someone else here, but I doubt it. I didn't see anyone. No. Yeah, that's their only one. Alright, that's not bad. But that being said, let's finish out the year. Unless they go absolutely crazy in the second half, they're not making the playoffs. But let's go see how they finished out here. So they did pick it up in the second half to break the 500. But that being said, they didn't finish it off strong. Strong enough. Okay, so we see Sonny Gray goes down. Ryan Helsley goes up a few. Arenado went up a little bit. Contreras went up a little bit. Newbar, I mean. So the players do progress a little bit, which is good. But obviously it doesn't matter because we are gonna, go back in and restart. So all that progress gets wiped. Did they have any award winners though? I really doubt it. To be completely honest, Dylan Cruz almost won Rookie of the Year. Good for him. Oh. Michael Ciani. Alright, good for him. Had a pretty good year. Oh, is he our starting center fielder? League leaders, let's see the WAR numbers first. Okay, Ivan Herrera, 3.9, not bad. Arenado and Wilson Contreras, 2.7 apiece. What about the pitching? Anyone else do anything of importance? Matthew Liberatore, 2.7. Miles Mikolas, 2.4. I thought he was going to be our worst one. Sonny Gray, 2.3. He went down a ton, unfortunately. Andre Palante, 1.7. Eric Fetty, 1.5. Did he go up or down? He went up. So the pitching did decent, surprisingly. I do want to see how our closer did, Mr. Ryan Helsley. 41 saves. Okay, he got his ERA down to a sub-4. Not a terrible year. Who was their starting? Is that their best center fielder? No, it's Victor Scott who's their best center fielder. Played 112 games. Played 108. All right. Yeah. That being said, I'm gonna go add our first legend and then see how big of a difference they make to this team. All right. So the first player I do add to this team is gonna be Stan the Man. Pretty sure he spent his entire career here. Yes, he did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the highest WAR out of every single Cardinals player. 128.2. So very, very good player in the Hall of Fame. Look at the All-Star appearances. I mean, 17, three-time MVP. What's that? 6-time batting title? No, 7. 7-time batting title. I mean, this dude is a legend of the game. Absolute beast. So we add him to the team, throw him in right field. I did slide Lars Newbar over to center field. So yeah, that being said, let's see how big of a difference he makes and how many wins he adds to the team. All right, we're at the home run derby. Stan might be here. By might, I mean he is here. 27 tanks for the guy. He's hitting 328. I'm assuming he's in the All-Star game. Yeah, he's starting right field. We got Arenado and Sonny Gray on the team as well. Does that mean Ryan Helsley's having a better year? No, it does not. I mean, 413, better than he was at this point last year. Arenado, doing what he does, and then obviously Stan, the man, the GOAT. 328, 81 RBIs on the year, 27 tanks. He's doing a great job. Yeah, but that being said, let's go see how they finish out the rest of the year. All right, so they finish off 85 and 77, which is not good enough for the postseason. Um, Damn. So they did finish back by 3 games, unfortunately. Sonny Gray led the league in innings pitched, and then Stan did a hell of a job as usual. Hit 335. Brendan Donovan in fourth. Obviously, he was first for WAR. We weren't expecting anything different. Who else would we have here? All right, unfortunately, my controller did die right there. Sorry, Mr. Editor Man. But yeah, Brendan Donovan at 3.8, Nolan Arenado at the 3.6, Lars Nootbaar with the 2.7. That's going to be the last player that we have. Pitching WAR. Sonny Gray, 3.8. He had a much better year. Still went down a ton, but had a great year. Let's see who else would we have here. Let's take Cutter Crawford on the Nationals. All right, interesting. Phil Maton. All right, do a job, buddy. We don't mind that. But yeah, not a great year for us statistically. Stan won the batting title. Doesn't win MVP. He loses it to Ozuna from the Braves. Wow, that is crazy. He won the batting title, though. I'm assuming he was oh, Dylan Cruz wins Rookie of the Year. Shout out to him. I'm assuming that he was at least a Silver Slugger. Brendan Donovan wins a Gold Glove. Stan in third for Gold Glove. Stan, obviously, I was going to say he had to have won a Silver Slugger. That being said, though, let's go add another player and see if that's what we need to make the playoffs. All right, the next player we are adding was kind of obvious, but we are going to add Bob Gibson, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. Yeah, but obviously, rounding out and trading in a terrible fifth starter for a bona fide ace is kind of obviously, a smart idea. So I think Bob Gibson is going to be that big difference we need. I think this team should be good enough to make the playoffs. Are they going to win a World Series? No. I think they need a couple more pieces, but that being said, I hope they make the playoffs this year, but let's go find out. All right, home run derby time. I'm assuming Stan better be here again. All right, he is. 27 tanks is the exact same amount that he had last year, but lower batting average, I mean. So that's a little scary, but All-Star voting, we should have 2 guys, and we have none. Bob Gibson is in third, having a great year. 2.9, 8-4, 121 strikeouts. We like that. And then right field stands in second because Kyle Tucker decided this year's an MVP season for him. So shout out to Kyle Tucker, I guess. All right, let's sim. I want to see who from our team actually made it into the All-Star game. Okay, so Bob Gibson does. Ryan Helsley I was expecting that. Anyone else? Stan does make it, which is good. So okay, we have 3 guys in here. Not bad, but the team's 55 and 42. They should be a lock for the playoffs. So let's go see if they can just close it out. All right, so they fell apart again, 86 and 76, and they didn't make the playoffs again. And they missed out by 1 game, which is just absurd. They missed out by 3 games, technically speaking. But this is atrocious. 86 wins 2 times in a row, or 85 and then 86. They can't get it done. League leaders, Bob Gibson obviously goes off. Stan obviously goes off. You were expecting it. Stan 8.2 does a job. Lars Nootbaar 5.4 did a great job. Good for him. Anybody else? Nolan Arenado, all right, 2.7. Pitching WAR, Bob Gibson 5.4. Doesn't win any other awards though besides an All-Star Game appearance. Sonny Gray 3.6. Wow, he dropped down a ton. That's probably why this team fell apart. See, anybody else here for the team? Maybe? Oh, Phil Maton and Matthew Liberatore. Alright. That's it, though. But let's see the awards. Stan wins a Hank Aaron. Kyle Tucker does win MVP. for some reason he just goes off. Good for him. Stan was third for the batting title. Stan, obviously, I said Hank Aaron Award. Anybody win anything of importance? Stan third for Silver Slugger. All right. Not a great year, but let's go make an addition and see if we can finally make it to the playoffs. All right, the next player we are going to add is Ozzie Smith. Played pretty much his entire career here except for 4 years. His stats are a little juiced here, but he did have a couple of, a string of very good years here. Obviously, mainly known for his defense of all things, but yeah, he was a beast. I think second base was our biggest need, so we might sound crazy. We moved Arenado to second because his arm isn't as good as it used to be. And then we moved Mason Wynn to third because his arm is insane. And then Ozzie Smith is going to take over at short, where he was an absolute legend of the game. So that being said, yeah, I think this team has to be playoff ready. But that being said, this is a very weird simulation game, so let's see how they do. All right, home run derby time. Let's see what we have here. No Stan the Man or Ozzie. I mean, I wasn't expecting Ozzie, but Stan the Man not being here is a little scary. Sonny Gray is our only All-Star. That is, well, they're the top two, which is very nice. Sonny Gray is going down a ton already. Yeah, that sucks. But Ryan Helsley is having a great year. Obviously, the main one we care about, Ozzie Smith hitting 271, which, I mean, I guess is par for the course. Going down a little bit, which is not ideal. Right? Does that say he was going down? Technically, he goes up in overall, but he's going down in some important stats. And then right field, Stan only hitting 268. Not good. But that being said, see if they can finish out the rest of the year. They're 59 and 38. Like, if they can't make the playoffs with a record this good to start the first half, then they're cooked. Respectfully, they're cooked. But that being said, let's go ahead and let's sim out the rest of this year. All right, they finished 92 and 70. There was a point where I got a little bit scared, but they managed to finish it out strong. Bob Gibson, Ryan Helsley did a great job too. Wow, hitters did not come to play this year, which is a little bit scary, but also not the worst thing in the world. Because I mean, Ozzie Smith hit 279, which grand scheme of things isn't great. Won a Gold Glove though, which I was expecting. Stan the Man, where are you? 272. Had one of his worst years in a very long time, or in this entire semi. So I mean, he did walk. I mean, did get on base a lot, which is good. But very big down year for him. Ozzie Smith 6.7 WAR. Stan 5.1. Got to step it up. Lars Nootbaar is doing a job, which is what I like to see. Anybody else? Any other hitters here? No. Pitching WAR though, Bob Gibson did finish with a 6. 2.56 ERA, 15 and 6, great year. Sonny Gray 4.2, not bad whatsoever. What overall is he right now? 81. Yeah, that's not it. Let's see. Anybody else? Matthew Liberatore, 2, not bad. Yeah. Team is okay-ish. If the hitters can turn it around for the playoffs, we'll be in a great spot. Especially going up against division rival Milwaukee. But they just have to step it up in the second or in the playoffs and get a job done. But that being said, Game 1, Bob Gibson versus Freddie Peralta is a win. Game 2, Sonny Gray versus Brandon Woodruff is a loss. Matthew Liberatore, Tobias Myers, playoffs on the line. We lose 2-3. And it looks like they walked it off in the bottom of the 9th with 2 runs. That is absolutely heartbreaking, to put it lightly. Absolutely heartbreaking. That being said, though, Ryan Helsley blew it when it mattered most. But we're going to add another player to this team and see if it's, what takes him to the World Series. All right, the next player we are adding is Albert Pujols. Obviously, one of the best players ever. One of the few members in the 700 home run club. Absolute legend of the game. I didn't make this card, or I didn't make this player model, but obviously he was an insane player. I know what you're thinking. We have Wilson Contreras. Why would I get another first baseman? One of them is going to be DH. Probably going to be Pujols, if I'm going to be honest. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not sure. Actually, no, it's probably going to be Contreras. He's not a good fielder, but Albert Pujols should be the thing that takes this team to the World Series. I'm hoping. So that being said, let's go ahead and let's start simming. All right, All-Star break. We got the Home Run Derby. No one here from our team. That is very surprising. Pujols, Smith, and Bob Gibson all going off to start the year. Sonny Gray in 5th, still at an 85, which is good. Ryan Helsley getting it done. I like to see that. First base, Pujols is hitting .313 with 17 tanks. He's going down for some reason, which is kind of annoying. But shortstop, Ozzie Smith hitting .313. He's going up in every stat except for speed. Yeah, and then in right field, Stan the Man hitting just under 300. All right, so they're doing very well, which is what I like to see. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and finish out this year. They're going insane right now, 68 and 29. If they somehow manage to not make the playoffs at all, I will be very upset with this game. But they should be. This should be almost a World Series team. So that being said, let's go ahead. Let's finish out the rest of the year. All right, we finished 109 and 53. Obviously, an incredible season. Bob Gibson doing what Bob Gibson does. Wow, we led the league in a lot of stuff, except for batting average, where we had number 2 and 3, which is okay. Batting war, Ozzie Smith, up to a 98 overall, had a great year. Wins a Gold Glove. Not expecting anything less. Albert Pujols does what he does. 7.9 WAR as a first baseman is crazy. You guys can see that. Stan Musial, 7.1. Nice little three-headed monster we have there. Anybody else? Come on, show me at least one other person from this team. There we go. Lars Nootbaar, 3.5. Nolan Arenado with the 3. I'm not seeing Brendan Donovan, which is scaring me a little bit. Bob Gibson had an 8.1 WAR, 22 and 3, 2.13 ERA, 270 strikeouts. That might be one of the greatest pitching. Oh, never mind. He did that like 3 years in a row. Never mind. I take it back. Obviously, an incredible year from him, though. Sonny Gray, 3.2. Matthew Liberatore, 2.4. Eric Fetty with a 2.3. Not bad whatsoever. All right. Pretty good. Let's see the awards. Obviously, we had a few. Ryan Helsley, Delivery Man of the Year. Bob Gibson wins a Cy Young. Stan wins Hank Aaron. Pujols wins Rookie of the Year, and then MVP goes to Bob Gibson. We had the top 3 guys here. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible year all around from this team. Ozzie Smith, obviously, like I said, Gold Glove. Stan misses out by a little bit. Albert obviously wins a Silver Slugger. And then Stan in the outfield as well. Who do we take on in round number 2, technically, in the NLDS? We take on the Diamondbacks. Bob Gibson versus Brandon Fat, whatever his name is. I always butcher it, Fat, whatever it is. We do get a win. Game 2, Sonny Gray versus Zach Gallen is a win. Game 3, Matthew Liberatore versus Corbin Burns is a loss. Eric Fetty versus Eduardo Rodriguez is a win. All right. Moving on to the Brewers. All right, they beat us in the last sim. Andre Palante versus Tobias Myers is a win. Bob Gibson versus Brandon Woodruff is a win. Sonny Gray versus Freddie Peralta is a loss. Liberatore versus Nestor is a loss. Tobias Myers versus Eric Fetty is a win. Palante versus Brandon Woodruff is a loss. Bob Gibson versus Freddie Peralta. Come on, Bob Gibson, get it done. He does. We are going to the World Series against the Yankees, where we have Sonny Gray starting Game 1 against Max Fried. It's a loss. Luis Gil versus Matthew Liberatore is a win. Eric Fetty versus Rodon is a win. Palante versus Garrett Cole is a loss. Fried versus Bob Gibson is a win. So they are 1 win away from winning it all. Sonny Gray versus Luis Gil is a loss. Game 7, Liberatore versus Garrett Cole is a win. The Cardinals win the World Series. That is what I'm talking about. So we get 1. Guaranteed to at least have 1. Who wins the playoff awards? Stan the Man wins World Series MVP and playoff MVP. He went off. Not many home runs from these guys. Albert Pujols not being here kind of scares me, but Stan the Man gets it done on both fronts. So that's what I'm talking about. But that being said, let's go ahead. Let's add another player. Let's see if we can win 4 more, 5 more. So, yeah, let's go find some players. All right, so the next player I am adding is going to be Adam Wainwright. Um, just because Palante was kind of making me feel a little questionable during the playoffs. And I'd rather just have, a bona fide insane two-man. Sonny Gray's a decent number three, potentially, depending on how far he falls off. But these three guys are like good end, middle rotation pieces. So that's why we're going to add Adam Wainwright, really solidify the rotation to make it one of the best in the league. That being said, this team is obviously still insane. Nothing changed except for the fact that we got better. So that being said, I do want another deep playoff run. We don't have to win the World Series again, but just another deep playoff run is what I'm looking for. So that being said, let's go have another year. All right, we are at the All-Star break yet again. Home run derby. Come on, show me someone. There we go. Stand the man back in, doing his thing. Gibson, Smith, and Musial. Adam Wainwright is here as well, which we like to see. Ryan Helsley, it looks like, is not having himself a great year. Oh my God, Ryan Helsley. He's so hit or miss in the first half of the year, unfortunately. First base, Pujols doesn't make it because Freddie Freeman decides he wants to go off one last year. Go off king. We love a Freddie Freeman good season. Ozzie Smith doing his thing, 287, 0 home runs. That's what we like to see. And then right field, Stan the Man hitting 284, 29 tanks. So all around great year. We are 63 and 34, so we're on pace, obviously, for another playoff appearance, which is what we're looking for. So that being said, let's see how they do. All right, so they finished off with a slightly worse record than last year, which, I mean, obviously last year was insane, but look at that. Bob Gibson might be the greatest pitcher of all time. And the team went off again as usual. Albert Pujols finished 343. Freddie Freeman fell off a ton. Sad to see, but obviously he had a great year. Good for him. WAR, Albert Pujols 9.4 as a first baseman is insane. Ozzie Smith with an 8.1. Obviously he plays elite level defense. And obviously when you hit 293 with a 390 on base percentage, you're gonna have a high WAR. Yeah. Stan the Man 7.5 does his thing as usual. We like that. Who else do we have here? Lars Nootbaar 3.7. I do like that. Brendan Donovan, just talked about him not doing very much. Has a 3.3, and then Nolan Arenado 3.2. Anyone else? No. Then Bob Gibson, Adam Wainwright, the nastiest 1-2 punch that we've probably ever seen. Sonny Gray, did you fall off because you weren't getting as much focus? A little bit. Down to an 81, but 2.6 WAR isn't terrible. Who else do we have here? Matthew Liberatore, 1.3. All right, so all-around decent year for the players. Cy Young goes to Bob Gibson. Hank Aaron goes to Albert Pujols. Rookie of the Year, Albert Pujols. MVP goes to Pujols. Batting title goes to Pujols. Triple Crown goes to Pujols. He wins a Triple Crown. Good for him. Hell of a year. We had the top three for MVP. 2 out of 3 for Cy Young. Obviously, batting title. Not reliever of the year, which is a little scary. Rookie of the Year, obviously top 2. Yeah, just absolutely lethal seasons from all of the guys here. Ozzie Smith wins another Gold Glove as always. Brendan Donovan in second. Pujols with a Silver Slugger. Stan, pretty average year. That being said, let's see how they do in the playoffs. We're going up against the Cubs, one of the most biggest rivalries in the MLB. Cubs versus Cardinals. Bob Gibson versus Ben Brown. This should be a dub. It is. Adam Wainwright versus Justin Steele is a loss, 2-3. Sonny Gray versus Shota is a loss. Matthew Liberatore versus Johan Oviedo is a win. Eric Fetty versus Justin Steele to move on is a loss. We got eliminated by the Cubs. 3 games that we lost by 1 run. And both of those games or at least one of them, another one. So 2 out of the 3 games were games that were blown. Let's see, Ryan Helsley gets a loss in that one. Eric Fetty gets a loss in that one, which means he went deep. But that sucks. That really, really sucks. Actually, did Ryan Helsley pitch in this game? I do want to see that. No, Palante. No, actually, Phil Maton was the one who blew it for us. All right, that sucks. But that being said, let's go add another player and see if it makes a difference. All right, the next player I'm going to be adding is Yadier Molina, who's an absolute beast of a defender. That's why his defense looks like that. I did not make this player model, but I did change the stats a lot because I wanted it to reflect more of like his better seasons where he was like MVP number 3 or 4, where he was an absolute beast. Obviously, one of the better defensive catchers. I know what you're thinking. Why is Ted Simmons not here? He has higher WAR with the Cardinals. He was technically better, but Yadier, when I think of catchers for the Cardinals, he's the first one that pops up. So that's why we went with him. His hitting stats aren't the best, but he's mainly here for his defense. But I mean, either way, he's still better than Ivan Herrera and Pedro Pages. So, yeah, that being said, he is a beast. I'm expecting his hitting to get better throughout the year. But that being said, this is the next player we're adding. Hopefully, he adds wins to our team. All right, we are at the All-Star break, home run derby time. We do have Pujols and Stan the Man here, which is very good. Let's see. All-Star voting. Okay, we have 4 guys here, which is good. Obviously, Adam Wainwright's right here. Obviously, isn't going to be as good as Bob Gibson because no one is. But still very good. I'm going to have to upgrade his fielding. I just realized it's at a 2. And that stuff's all very low, but that's fine. Damn. I really, really need Ryan Helsley to like figure it out on a more consistent basis because that is not good. Yadier Molina in second place. His hitting stats are kind of going down. His defense is going down, but still all around a beast. Doing what we need him to do. So first base, obviously we have him. Shortstop Ozzy hitting 336. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how, but he is doing it. Not Christian Yelich. Stan the Man hitting 342. I'm thinking I might actually increase Yadi's contact because he was like a career 270 hitter, I'm pretty sure. So I think it should be a little bit higher, 270. You know, I think I might upgrade him a little bit next year, but that being said, he's a beast for this year. The team is currently 56 and 41. Good enough for first by a few games, but that being said, let's go see if they can hold on to it and finish out the year very strong. All right, we finished 103 and 59. Obviously, an amazing year. League leaders, you know the drill. Bob Gibson leads the league in pretty much everything every year. Albert Pujols does what he does. Freddie Freeman, why is he such a beast? Stan the Man hit 344, which isn't even good enough to win himself a batting title, which is absolutely absurd. But good for him. Batting WAR 10.3 for Stan. Ozzy with a 9.5. Pujols with a 8.3. Yachty with a 6.7. Nolan Arenado 4. And Lars with a 3.3. Anybody else? No. All right, what about Liam Hicks? Who the hell are you? Pitching WAR, Bob Gibson, Adam Wainwright. Sonny Gray, are you somewhere to be found? Yes, he is, 2.5. Anybody else? Matthew, 2. All right. All around good year, though. Let's go to the playoffs. Oh, actually, I did forget the awards. Stan the Man, Albert Pujols. I mean, take a look. We're insane at this point. That being said, you know the drill. Playoffs. Cardinals versus Phillies. All right. Bob Gibson versus Ranger Suarez is a dub. Wainwright versus Zach Wheeler is a dub. Sonny Gray versus Luzardo. Nice, easy sweep. Now we're going up against the Dodgers, probably the toughest team to beat in this game. And we don't have our best starters on the mound until game 3. Liberatore versus Shohei is a win. Eric Fedde versus Blake Snell is a win. Bob Gibson versus Glasnow is a loss. Yamamoto versus Wainwright is a win. Sonny Gray versus Ohtani to go to the World Series is a loss. Liberatore versus Snell to go to the World Series is a loss. Eric Fedde versus Glasnow to go to the World Series is a loss, and we blow a 3-1 lead. Oh my. That is atrocious. That being said, I am going to go add another player to this team and see if we can bounce back from that. All right, and the next player we are going to be adding is Mr. Lou Brock. I did slide him to center field. He's a left fielder in real life, but I wanted him to be in center because he is extremely fast, steals a lot of bases, and we need that in center field. 938 stolen bases. You know, very good hitter over his career. 293, 343 on base percentage. A lot of all-stars. Never really won any awards, though. But that being said, we are going to see if he can go ahead and do a great job for this team. One of the things we needed on this team was speed, and we got it. So that being said, let's go see if we can win another World Series. I want more than one. So let's go see what they can do. All right, we are at the All-Star break. Home run derby time. Um, Albert Pujols doing what he does. Jorge Soler, for some reason unknown to me, but Pujols is being an absolute beast as usual, hitting 338. All-Star voting. Only three guys this time around. Obviously Adam Wainwright being a beast, the usual from him. Mitchell Parker. All right, can go off. Ryan Helsley he's okay. Yadier doing 327. Okay, that's insane. Pujols hitting 338. Good for him. Um, Ozzie Smith. All right, he's doing okay. 289, not bad. Center field Lou Brock hitting 296 with 10 tanks. All right, not bad. And then right field Stan only hitting 280. Okay. All right though. We are currently 62 and 35, so this should be a nice easy coast to the playoffs. But yeah, see you guys when we get there. All right, we finished 103 and 59 yet again. League leaders, not as much this year, but the hitting went off. All right, Albert Pujols hit 323, good for him. Batting war though, William Contreras does the job, but Ozzie Smith with an 8, Albert Pujols 7.4, Lou Brock 7.3, Yadier Molina 6.8. Stan the Man only 5.9 this year, only hit 282, but that's okay. Let's see, who else do we have here? Come on, show me at least one normal player. Nolan Arenado 3.5. Okay, I don't mind that. Pitching war. Adam Wainwright gets it done for once. Bob Gibson still has a great year with a 5.1 WAR. Sonny Gray 2.4. So he's been that good number 3 guy that we needed. Matthew Liberatore been a pretty good 4-man, thankfully, so far. Anyone else here? Nope, no Eric Fetty to be found. Let's see the awards. Cy Young goes to Bob Gibson somehow. Good for him. Pujols wins the Hank Aaron and Rookie of the Year and MVP and the batting title because he's just the GOAT apparently. But yeah, all around great season. I'm not gonna slowly go through it, but I want to see Delivery Man. Did I pass it? I did. All right, so we don't have Helsley here. Is a problem, but you guys can take a look at that stuff if you want to see. Obviously, the team is lethal. So yeah, that being said, let's get to the playoffs. Who are we facing? The Pittsburgh Pirates. Gibson versus Mitch Keller, game 1 is a win. Wainwright versus Paul Skeens is a loss. Sonny Gray versus Jared Jones is a win. Liberatore versus Andrew Heaney is a loss. Fetty versus Skeens again. And we lose to the Pirates. We lose to the Pirates. What did the lineups look like? Lou Brock's down to an 83? What the actual fuck happened here? That's insane. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen next year because that is not... What is that? He drops down 15 overalls in 1 year? Hell no. But, alright. So we get eliminated in round 1. Yeah, we're going to have to make a big change next year. But that being said, see you guys when we make the next addition to the team. Alright, the next player we are adding is Bruce Sutter. Ryan Helsley scares me too much, so I did move him to reliever. He goes down to 79, but that's not the biggest deal. Bruce Sutter, though, is going to come in at a 96. Only pitched in St. Louis for 4 years, but in those 4 years, he won reliever of the year 3 times. Won a Cy Young in Chicago, but that doesn't matter too much to me. 3 out of 4 years being delivery man of the year or reliever of the year is absolutely nuts. So that's why he's here. That's why he's as good as he is, statistically speaking. So yeah, that being said, we're going to go ahead. We are going to see if this is the big addition that gets us another World Series because only winning one World Series so far is very disappointing. This team is too good not to. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and we are going to sim and see if they can win a World Series again. All right, we are at the All-Star break. Home run derby. Who do we have? Albert the GOAT. No one else, so I'm assuming we have... Come on, we have to have at least like 3 or 4. We do have 4. That is what I like to see. Adam Wainwright here. Whoa. Where is... Eric? Whoa, Bob Gibson. All right. Having himself a bit of a down year. That's all right. Closing pitcher, Bruce Sutter, is just lethal. 37 saves already. Compared to the next person who has 24, 9... 23. I mean, insane. Wow, so Steven Matz and Kyle Leahy are doing better than... Wow, where is he? is there no Ryan Helsley here? I might have passed him, but I don't see Ryan Helsley anywhere. That's insane. All right, catcher Yadier Molina, Albert Pujols at first base, obviously. Shortstop Ozzie Smith, only hitting 270, but 27 stolen bases is good. We don't have a left fielder. Lou Brock 301, 5 tanks. Stan hitting 314 with 15 tanks, but doesn't get him into the All-Star game, unfortunately. That's all right. That being said, though, we are 67-30, which I'm pretty sure is our best All-Star game record. So that being said, we're gonna go ahead finish out the year. We know we're making the playoffs. We just need to make it to the World Series again. All right, we finished 109-53. I'm not sure if that's our best record, but it is an insane record. Pitching went off, hitting went off. Pujols, like, just look at him. He won. Wow, he won literally like everything. He won 7 awards in his rookie year in this game. Pujols with 9.2. Ozzie Smith was a 7. Lou Brock 5.8. Where is Stan? Oh, 4.8. Yadi also with a 4.8, but I don't mind that. Does go down a lot hitting wise. Where is Lou Brock? He's down to an 85. Like, why does that? Why is this happening? Why does he go down so much so quickly? I don't like that. I really do not like that. I might have to boost him up before the playoffs because that's just stupid. That being said, though, Nolan Arenado. All right. Pitching WAR, Adam Wainwright 6.3, Bob Gibson 4.8, Eric Fetty 3.7, good for him. Anybody else do anything crazy? Matthew Liberatore 2.4. Where's Sonny Gray? Sonny Gray 2.2 is not going to get it done for us. Bruce Sutter, though, with a 1.8. Had 62 saves. That's the record. That is tied for the record. Holy shit. So he just tie the record? He did. He tied the record from Francisco Rodriguez. That's insane. If only he turned one of those blown saves into a save. Did he have any? He had 6. If he turns one of those into a save, he would have broke the record. That's crazy. All right, though. Awards. Bruce Sutter obviously wins delivery man. Adam Wainwright, Cy Young, Pujols, Hank Aaron, Rookie of the Year, MVP, batting title. He just does what he does. That being said, I am going to make Lou Brock better again, and then we're going to go to the playoffs. All right, we are going up against the Diamondbacks. Bob Gibson versus Eduardo Rodriguez is a win. Adam Wainwright versus Zach Allen is a win. Sonny Gray versus Corbin Burns is a win. So we sweep nice and easy. We go up against the Dodgers. They said something about our roster. Let's just make sure the hitters are all there. Perfect. Pitching rotation is good. Yes, it is. All right. Going up against the Dodgers, we got Matthew Liberatore versus Blake Snell. Game 1, let's see how they do. We lose. We get smoked. Eric Fetty versus Tyler Glasnow, game 2. We lose. Bob Gibson versus Shohei Ohtani is a loss. Wainwright versus Yamamoto. We get swept by the Dodgers. There's no way we don't win another World Series. We have 2 players left to add, so yeah, let's go add those 2 players and see if something drastic happens here. All right, the next player we are adding, the second to last player, is Jim Edmonds. He was a beast in St. Louis. Obviously, wasn't like he didn't spend his whole career here. He spent a lot of time in LA, but he did spend, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years here. I'm guessing like 8.5, but he did spend 8 years here. Let's see, did he win any awards? Couple Gold Gloves, won a Silver Slugger, couple All-Star appearances. So did very well in St. Louis. Obviously, this is an Angels version, but I don't care. So that being said, we do have Jim Edmonds here. I'm hoping that this is what we need to win a World Series, because if not, then I'm out of options here, because this team is way too good to not be winning a World Series every single year. But that being said, let's go to the All-Star break. Yeah. All right, home run derby time. We have to have at least a couple guys here. Come on. There we go. Pujols and Stan the man. I do like that. Okay, so we do have 5 guys who are starters. Sonny Gray, doing better than both Bob Gibson and Adam Wainwright, which is insane to see, but we like that. Closing pitcher, Bruce Sutter, 27-3, not bad. Yadier Molina hitting 272, Pujols hitting 308. Ozzie Smith hitting 324. All right, good job from him. Lou Brock hitting 298. Going down a little bit, which I don't like, but hopefully he can stay where he is. Jim Edmonds in 292 with 23 tanks. I don't know how he's behind Jackson Merrill. like legitimately does not make any sense to me. What do the wars look like here? 4 and 4.6. It doesn't make sense to me, but Stan the Man, starting in right field, in 327, 30 tanks, 83 RBIs. We do like that. That being said, just get to the playoffs. All right, we finished 111 and 51. I think that's definitely our best record thus far. Obviously, you guys can see pitching's doing very well. Hitting's doing even better, though. Staying the wow, we had the top 4 for batting average. That's absolutely nuts. Ozzie Smith 10.7. Jim Edmonds in his first year with a 10. Pujols with a 7.3. Stan with a 6.4. Yadier with a 5.4. Lou Brock 4.6. He's going down a lot, but not as bad as usual. Anybody else? No, we do not. Pitching war, Adam Wainwright 6.4. Bob Gibson with a 5.8. Sonny Gray with a 3.5 had a good year. Anybody else? No. All right. That being said, though, let's take a look at the awards. Cy Young, Bob Gibson. Hank Aaron goes to Jim Edmonds. Rookie of the Year, Pujols. Batting title, Stan the Man. Shohei wins MVP. 172 RBIs will do that for you, actually. So that does make sense. Oh, whoa, hold on. Actually, reliever of the year, Bruce Sutter, only 47 saves this year, but still did a great job. Emilio Pagan just did better, so good for him. That being said, take a look around, see what you want to see, and yeah. All right. That being said, first round of the playoffs. Who are we going up against? It is the Mets. Senga versus Adam Wainwright, easy dub. Bob Gibson versus Sean Manaea, easy dub. Sonny Gray versus Clay Holmes, we lose. Liberatore versus Tyler Megill is a win. All right. Fetty versus Blake Snell, win. Wainwright versus Ohtani, loss. Gibson versus Glasnow, win. Yamamoto versus Gray, loss. Liberatore versus Snell, loss. Fetty versus Ohtani, win. Wainwright versus Glasnow, come on. We are eliminated, so we have one more season left. They've only won one World Series. The Dodgers just always stop us. This is where we go to just lose, is the Dodgers for some unknown reason. I think it's the pitching. Unfortunately, I think it's the pitching. But that being said, let's go add our last player and see if it's the last piece that we need. All right, the last player we're adding is Rogers Hornsby, who had a career batting average of 358. You heard that right. 358 batting average, 434 on base percentage, 577 slugging percentage. It's absolutely nuts. His stats are insane. 300 home runs, just under 3,000 hits, unfortunately. So it sucks to suck. But this card's a beast. I didn't make the card, but I did change the stats a little bit. That being said, if we can't win a World Series with this team, then the game's just broken. Because this team is absolutely insanity. Like, this team is just like we got 90s all over the place. There's one position that doesn't, and that's third base. I did move Arenado back, so that's why he's there. We got 90s everywhere. If we don't win a World Series, it's because of the pitching. That's literally it. It's just because of the pitching. So that being said, I hope we can win a World Series because, like I said, it's either 10 years or until we win a World Series, but they already won one in year like 4. So that being said, let's see if they can get it done in their final season. All right, we're at the Home Run Derby in the final year. Come on, show me a few guys here. We do have 2, which is not bad. I mean, 37 and then 35 is absolutely nuts. So good for them. All-star voting. We do have, 6 players there. Not bad. Wainwright and Gibson both being absolute beasts. Bruce Sutter, 28 saves isn't bad. Yadier Molina hitting 292, not bad. Pujols, down year hitting 287, but a lot of home runs. Rogers Hornsby hitting 322. It's insane that you can't even replicate his real-life numbers anymore. Obviously, it was like the 1910s, so take it with a grain of salt, but still, absolutely insane player. Shortstop, Ozzie Smith, only hitting 259. Lou Brock hitting 324. Like to see that. Jim Edmonds, 337. Then Stan the Man hitting 294. All right. This team is 75 and 22, so we might clinch the playoffs before the end of the month, but that being said, they need to get the job done this year. All right, I might have missed it, but we did finish 125. Where is it? We did finish 125 and 37, which is nuts. League leaders, we led the league in like everything. Cardinals players all over the place. That's all you need to know. Batting war, though, we had the top 4. Jim Edmonds had an almost 12. That might be his best every year, realistically. Yeah, considering he didn't have any double-digit ones. He had almost a 12. That's insane. Rogers, Hornsby, 9.5. Stan the Man, 9.4. Albert Pujols, 8.2. Yadier, 7.5. Lou Brock, 7.1. Ozzie Smith, 5.8. Not a great year, but that's okay. Nolan, 5.1, had a hell of a year in year 12 of his career. All right, all around, very solid year. Pitching war, Bob Gibson and Adam Wainwright doing what they do. Where is my guy Sonny Gray? Not here yet. Eric Fetty, 2.4. Sonny Gray, show up. There we go, 2.1. He's down to a 74. He might not even be in the rotation for the playoffs. Liberatore, 2.1. Bruce Sutter with a 1.4. Finished with 48 saves. Good for him. That being said, though, I'm probably going to make some adjustments to this roster. Sonny Gray might not be on the team for the playoffs. So, that being said, let's go ahead and make some changes. All right, so this is what the playoff rotation is going to look like. I'm putting Palante in because Sonny Gray, buddy, you got to figure it out. Yeah, and then the lineup heading into the final year, it looks pretty much what you guys thought it would look like. Wilson Contreras had he hit 321. Wow. So he destroyed the lefties like he was supposed to. He destroyed the righties. That's what I'm talking about. That's a good platoon right there. Is when you guys actually, are successful against the sides that you put them against. That being said, though, let's go ahead. Let's get to the playoffs. Let's see how they do. This is the last year. I'm just hoping the Dodgers get eliminated by the Mets. That being said, though, Chicago Cubs round 1. Justin Steele versus Adam Wainwright is a loss. Gibson versus Shota is a win. Fetty versus Tylon, whatever the hell his name is a win. Liberatore versus Ben Brown is a loss. Palante versus Shota. All right, we're going to hop in. I just want to see it. Quick manage. Rocking the City Connects for game number 5. Do I want to put Palante on the bump? We are going to put Palante on the bump. They start off with no runs. Come on. Palante is getting the job done. We do get one. They start off with a double, caught stealing, and a single. There we go. Can we get some more runs going for our starter here, please? Okay, we get another one. That's not bad.
3. Take your base, ball 4.
Oh, Palante, please get one out. Yes. All right, beautiful. All right. Pitching change. We are going to bring in Ryan Helsley. I have a feeling I'm going to regret this immediately. Of course I do. He gives up a home run to Nico, out of all people.
3.
Oh my god, I'm glad he didn't blow that. All right. Bruce Sutter time. Come on, buddy. Shut the door. You need 3 outs. 1. Oh my god. Bruce Sutter, please. Yes. Okay, so they do move on to face the Dodgers. Oh, man. All right. Dodgers game 1. We do have our ace on the bump, though, so I'm glad it kind of went to 5 games. I'm kind of glad, but at the same time, a little bit stressful. But that being said, Dodgers game 1, Wainwright versus Shohei is a loss. Gibson versus Snell is a win. Fetty versus Glasnow is a win. Liberatore versus Yamamoto is a loss. Palante versus Ohtani is a win. Wainwright versus Blake Snell is a win. We are going to face the Astros in the World Series. Please, can we get it done in our final season? I just realized I didn't look at any of the awards. Cy Young goes to Bob Gibson. 3 Gold Glove winners. Hank Aaron goes to Jim Edmonds. Rookie of the Year goes to Pujols. MVP goes to Pujols. And then batting title goes to Hornsby. Sorry about that. No, it's kind of random, but we do have Bob Gibson versus Framber Valdez. Game 1 is a loss. Fetty versus Hunter Brown is a win. Liberatore versus Wesneski is a win. Palante versus Arrighetti is a loss. Valdez versus Wainwright is a win. This is for all the marbles right here. Quick manage. I wanna see it happen live. We are rocking the City Connects. We are home the last 2 games. Who do we have on the bump for both games? We got Bob Gibson on the bump for this game. This should be the last game of the series, respectfully. Get it done. Get it done, guys. I'm low-key feeling Bob Gibson complete game shutout. I'm feeling it. 1-0 going into. Oh, there we go. We got another run.
3.
There we go. Got us a little bit more run support. There we go. Oh, yeah, 7-run lead. Yep. Yep, that's going to be it. All right, let's watch these last 3 outs. Let's watch this team get it done in the World Series. Yeah, so they did. Obviously, if they blow a 9-run lead, if Bob Gibson manages to blow a 9-run lead, I'm going to fight someone. Because there is no shot in hell that we blow a 9-run lead. But that being said, I am going into the middle. Actually, that was kind of stupid. I'm going to...
You're out. Ball 4. Take your base. 3.
All right. Let's watch the last out here. All right. Bob Gibson on the bump. He got a runner on first. He has 101 pitches to this point. Can he just get me one more out? Christian Walker up to the plate. Oh, yeah. First pitch is a strike. I don't know what this camera angle is, but I really don't care. Gibson, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. Can he finish this off? The fans are on their feet. Strike 2. Not a good spot, but he gets it over. He has him exactly where he wants him. Just go right at him. Give him the heater. You know he's not going to touch it. You know he's not touching the fastball, Bob Gibson. Oh, good miss, good miss. All right, come on. You have him where you want him. I'd probably go like a little slide piece away, but that's just me. Might go fastball up. Also a good option. And he's going to throw. I think that was a changeup. They win the World Series. Bob Gibson gets it done. What did I say? Bob Gibson, complete game shutout. I called it. Knew it was coming. It's a good way to end off this little thing, this little sim. So, that being said, let's go take a look and see who won all the postseason stuff. Bob Gibson, hell of a game, 12 Ks, no runs, complete game shutout. Pujols 3 for 5. So, let's see. Awards. Rogers Hornsby wins World Series MVP and playoff MVP. He hit 478 with 3 tanks, and then he hit 355 with 6 tanks in the playoffs. Yeah, so we did win 2 World Series in the course of 10 years, 11 years technically if you want to count the first year. But yeah, this is what the final team looks like. A lot of great players here. So that being said, the next team that I am doing, I believe, is the Pirates. So if you guys want to see specific players, actually never mind because I'm filming it right after this. But that being said, drop your favorite players from your favorite team down below, and you might just be featured in the video. So that being said, thank you guys as always for watching. Stay tuned for the next one, and peace.